So hey one and all, welcome back to Netflix football and this is a hat trick for me, guys. This is a hat trick for me. The one, the only Nolan Lewis from Kryptos, the front man of Kryptos, has agreed to join me on this Liverpool versus Brighton pre-match podcast, and I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled. So let's have the big man himself on screen right now. Nolan, how have you been?
What's up? Doing good. Just keeping busy. COVID screwed with everything, but at least we have football now, so it's something.
Absolutely. So I won't ask Nolan about music because there are numerous podcasts with Nolan in music, and go to any social media site and dig that up. But this side of Nolan, that is a huge Liverpool fan, will be talking in depth about Nolan's life as a Liverpool fan. So Nolan, how did you actually come to support Liverpool Football Club?
It's a kind of a long story. Actually, I started out in the early 90s as an AC Milan fan. Strangely enough, I didn't really know that much about football in the early 90s. But because I lived in the Middle East in Kuwait, we had access to live football through ESPN and all these channels. Mm-hmm. And Serie A was big, and AC Milan in the early 90s were like the best team in the world.
The golden trio,
exactly.
And
Gullit. Yeah, but in fact, most of my favorite players came a bit after that. Daniel Massaro and Dejan Savicevic and Zvonimir Boban, and of course Maldini, Baresi, Costacota, all these guys. They were amazing. But the thing is, back then I only liked them because they were the best team in the world. Like many people, they follow the best teams around and the best players, and I just followed them because they played the best football. They were the best team around, blah blah. Mm-hmm. And I didn't actually follow English football that much. I was more into Serie A and stuff. Mm-hmm. It just so happened that I watched a Liverpool game. I think it was against Ajax in a qualifier. Back then it was a UEFA Cup qualifier.
Right. Louis van Gaal's Ajax.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, my memory is a bit shaky, but I think Liverpool lost the game, and I felt really sorry for them. They seemed like such such. I don't know. I just felt really sorry for them. They looked like it's like when you hit a deer with your car or something, and it's like hobbling off the road.
And Bollywood fans are engaged right now.
And I don't know what it was, but for some reason I started following the results. Like we used to get all the results in the newspapers. I started watching games on TV, highlights, whatever. And I don't know, for some reason something clicked. Something about the club just clicked with me. It resonated with me. I can't really tell you what exactly, but from the time I started following them, I just completely fell in love with them. I think at that time Roy Evans was in charge, and things weren't that great, but some of the football was actually pretty good. And I grew up with some of those players, like all over Dean Saunders and guys like Neil Ruddock and all of these players, and eventually when it morphed into when Gerard Houllier came in, and things took off from there. I really got into the club, and especially in 2001 when we did the treble. The mini treble and stuff. Those are some of my best memories. And since then it's just been, there's no looking back. It's Liverpool till I die. That's it. There's no other club for me.
Okay, Devan, Nolan, your fan base is coming in. So, okay, no, so Nolan Lewis in the house, big fan, sir. Same here. We was there both times when you played in Kolkata in 2017 and 2020. He's my friend. He was the one who actually dragged me to the Kryptos concert, and I actually was enthralled by, and I was discussing with Nolan like the metal scene in Kolkata is such a huge thing that you guys are gods. You guys are legit gods in this state. And less about the music, less about the music. But Nolan, we were just discussing your greatest memory as a Liverpool fan. Just more highlights into that.
Of course, the greatest. I mean, who? I think every Liverpool fan will place the 2005 Champions League final right at the top. I mean, in my case, I was. It was during the time I got my first job. I think I was around 2 years into my first job, and I was working night shifts, and I was working at this company that was back then. Bangalore wasn't as big as it is now. So the place I was working at was really far away, and I was doing night shifts. The game was at around midnight and stuff, and my shift got over at 4 a.m. So I couldn't get leave for the day because my manager was a dick, and I just had to watch. Yeah. And I just had to watch the game. So I snuck out of office, and it was 11 at night. And back then you couldn't even book cabs and stuff like that. We didn't have smartphones and shit. So I had to somehow get an auto. I gave him all the money I had. I got home, turned the game on. My manager's messaging me, "Where the hell are you?" And blah blah. And I'm just like, "Go to hell." And at halftime, I had my we're 3-0 down. I had my head in my hands, and I was like, "Shit, I'm going to lose my job. We're going to lose this game." But then what happened after that? And shit, I think I broke down. I mean, I was kneeling in front of the TV, and my dad was like, "What the hell is wrong with you?" And I was like, it was like I guess when you experience a religious rapture or whatever it was similar to that. When Dudek saved that final penalty, I was like, holy shit, this is unreal. It's just, in fact, even today when I look back on that game, I can't even believe it happened. Something like that to happen for that Liverpool team was pretty much shit. Except for maybe 2 or 3 players, that entire team was crap. And it was only because of Rafa and Gerrard and to an extent Alonso and maybe Garcia that we managed to get into that position. But seriously, what happened in that final was nothing short of miraculous. Absolutely.
And that's a miraculous story. Even being a United fan for all these years, even as a few of my friends commented, they hate Liverpool, right? We hate Liverpool on field, but off field, there's nothing but respect because you guys were the ones who first came in to support United in the 1956 disaster. The Hillsborough incident, United lend a hand to Liverpool. But it's all about mutual respect. Off the field, it's nothing like that. So we'll take a question from the comments. Thanks Ajit for joining us again. So how was the moment when Liverpool won the league after so many years, like 30 years? Like legit emotions. What how are you feeling, Nolan? Even the freak season that you had the season before, when losing on 1 point and going on to clinch the league. How were the emotions?
It was. I mean, it was surreal actually. I mean, considering it happened during COVID, there were no fans in the stadium. There was no hoo-ha and fanfare and stuff like that. So it's still a bit dreamlike. It's not properly sunk in because I waited so long for it to happen, and when it finally happened, there was no one around to see it happen except all of us on TV. But of course, the way we were playing last season, it was, I think 3/4 of the way through, it was almost a foregone conclusion that we were going to win the league. Yeah. So it was like we were already prepared for it. I was kind of like, man, if we let this slip, it's going to be ridiculous. It'll be the most Liverpool thing ever. But the way the team was playing, they were just there was just no way the league was not coming to Anfield, And when it finally did happen, I was like, "Holy shit! I can't." I mean, I couldn't believe it was actually happening. When the players, got onto the podium and when Hendo lifted the trophy and stuff, I was like, "This is insane!" I never ever thought in my lifetime I would see something like that happen. And especially the previous season when we finished, we lost. I mean, we came second by 1 point. I didn't really think we would mount a similar challenge or even go one better, but it was insane. I mean, what Klopp has done to Liverpool is, again, it's absolutely miraculous, because considering how bad we were before he came in, seriously. And I don't think I'll ever. Who knows? We probably might never see us win the league again after last time. So I've cherished that. I've cherished that moment. I mean, it's stuck in my head forever.
Truly amazing. Truly, like the amount of time you waited. It's a testament to how, as you said, Klopp had done miraculous things. And even though, like, Liverpool fans as well as the board had patience with Klopp, the first season he finished 7th, and the managerial turnarounds that are happening right now, as you saw Frank Lampard getting the sack after a brilliant season and things not clicking. Like, there are times in life that, or in any coaching career, that things will not stick into place. That kudos to the United board for sticking through Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he's done what he's done. Right, and still far away, still learning on the job, but he got, and after a resounding 9-0 victory, which by the way, not a lot of teams can do. A lot of teams cannot even beat the Southampton or their own academy for that.
Well, not a lot of teams can beat Sheffield United.
I'm just going to ignore that. By the way, I hope you're enjoying the show. So a subscribe would be amazing. Guys, I'm just close to 500. 15 more subs to go, and I think that you guys can make it happen tonight. And with Nolan's help, I think this is going to cap off 500 for tonight. So more on the show. I'll take another comment. So Hari Suresh, thanks for joining in. He says Kryptos greater than Liverpool.
This guy.
So the favorite losing game against Man United. If it wasn't enough doubt which club a supporter he was, now it's evident.
I know who he is. The only time I enjoy losing against Man United is when he's next to me and I'm beating the shit out of him.
So I'll give you two options. The number one would be the Berbatov hat trick, and number two would be where De Gea turned into Spider-Man and everything Sterling, Balotelli was aiming at was just. It was a 3-1 victory, I remember.
Yeah.
So out of those two, which one favorite losing? It's an oxymoron, but still.
There's no favorite losing against Man U at all. I mean, losing against Man U is just it's a travesty.
Unacceptable.
But it's actually none of those games. The one time I didn't mind too much was when Mata scored. I think he scored twice against us in that one game.
That's the back volley one.
The back volley one. Yeah.
2-0.
Yeah. That's because, I mean, I love Juan Mata. He's one of the few United players I like. I liked him even before he joined United. So, and I really like him as a player. So it was okay. It took some of the sting off the defeat, but still, it's like there's no United. There's no losing game against United that I can even stomach. It's just awful. It seriously makes me feel ill, physically ill.
That's the way with losing to your rivals. It's the same throughout, Nolan. So moving on to the tactical part of things, like the reason Liverpool are Liverpool right now, and I can only dive into one man, that is Virgil van Dijk, and his absence has been very crucial. And Liverpool have not been blessed with players remaining fit. But still, Nolan, how much do you think Virgil van Dijk, because Liverpool's attack has been spot on, even without Jota, Salah is probably still the top scorer in the Premier League. Would have Liverpool been clear shot favorites if this guy still remained on the pitch with Liverpool captaining the defense?
Clear favorites? I don't know. I mean, of course, Man City, in my opinion, City are always clear favorites for every season. Of course, I think we would be much closer to them if Van Dijk was fit. because it's not just his defending. It's, he brings calm to our defense. His composure kind of rubs off on everyone, and of course his leadership quality. He's basically, Hendo might be the captain, but in my eyes, Van Dijk is the actual. He is the captain of Liverpool. Hendo's a great captain. Maybe more so off the pitch than on the pitch, but on the pitch, Van Dijk is our leader. He is Liverpool's backbone, and it's the way he organizes things at the back that lets the players in front of him express themselves a lot more. When he's not there, and we have Gomez or Matip or now Fabinho or Henderson, whoever's covering at the back, the guys in front, like Wijnaldum and whoever else, Milner, or whoever else is playing, Curtis Jones, even the front three, they seem a bit too scared to lose possession, because they aren't, makeshift centre backs don't really spread confidence among your team. So it all became a bit too nervy. It's like when we kept losing centre. Matip gets injured, Gomez gets injured, everyone starts getting injured, and then you're playing with Rhys Williams and Nat Phillips, and they're all young guys, inexperienced. So one mistake can cost you the game. So the guys up front, even in midfield, they always have to keep one eye behind or two eyes behind the back of their heads, because they're not too confident about what's behind them. So it affects the whole team. A guy like Van Dijk going out, it's something like that it's not easily replaceable. A guy like him isn't easily replaceable.
Being one of the top 5 players in the world.
Yeah, definitely. He's, in my opinion, he's one of the best defenders we've ever had. He's an absolute Rolls Royce of a player. We could lose any of our backline, and we could still manage, but losing him is an issue.
Great deal. Okay, so there's an interesting question for Dimayan again. So how do you think Ozan Kabak might turn out in this stint? Well, Nolan, Ozan Kabak comes in from a Schalke side that has shipped in 50 goals already, rock bottom of Bundesliga. But Trent Alexander-Arnold, Andy Robertson picked up from a relegated season, best left back in the world, arguably. But I think Hari Suresh would disagree, because best left back in the Premier League in this season, and why is it Luke Shaw?
I can show you WhatsApp messages where Hari is like, Luke Shaw sucks.
Those are all United fans put together. Hari, we understand you. The feeling is mutual. So coming back to the Ozan Kabak question, Wijnaldum coming in from a relegated Newcastle side, turning out to be one of the best box-to-box centre midfielders in the Champions League winning season. So is this another feather out of Klopp's scouting system, like player over team, and he picks the performances rather than the overall collective?
If it wasn't for Klopp, I wouldn't actually be confident, signing players from relegated teams or relegation threatened teams. But he seems to have a knack for getting the most out of so-called average players, or players that no other clubs would, even bother looking at. So I expect. He speaks very highly of Kabak. So let's see. I guess it should work out, considering he usually knows what he's doing. So yeah.
So it's a boom.
I think
a boom signing again.
But I'm just happy we have a centre back, so that Henderson, Fabinho, whoever it is, can actually play in their actual positions.
It's Ben Davies from Preston and Ozan Kabak on loan, and Mustafi gone to the Schalke.
Thank God for that.
Arsenal actually paid tribute to them by getting 2 red cards in a single match. Like, I don't know what's more funnier at this point of time. So Hari Suresh has gone full berserk. He sets favorite Champions League goal, and why is Benzema's goal versus Liverpool? Oh my God.
I think you need to put him on mute.
Okay, this is an interesting question. Do you think Carriers deserved a second chance after the final? This is a legit interesting question.
Absolutely not. No. See, the thing is, with Carrius, I felt bad for him for the longest time, and I felt really. I mean, he was making errors a fair few times before the Champions League final, and he did put in some good performances. There was some improvement, here and there, but he was always. I mean, a brain fart was never too far away with him, and. The trouble is, after the Champions League final, it just reached ridiculous levels. I mean, come on, it was you can't have if you want to challenge for titles or for the top four, whatever it is, you need a kick-ass goalkeeper. You need a top-class goalkeeper, and Karius just isn't it. So, I mean, look at Alisson. Alisson is like light years ahead of Karius. So.
And the fact that Alisson conceded 7 goals in 2 legs to Liverpool, and
yeah, exactly,
he was the one who was signed by Klopp. Is it just a testament that how Klopp identifies players more than the collective performance of the team?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think Klopp lost patience with Karius as well. Because Klopp can be ruthless at times. He gives players the benefit of the doubt a lot of times, but when push comes to shove, he's not averse to showing them the door. So, and Karius hasn't been doing well either in Turkey. So,
okay. So coming on to the as the transfer part of things, like one transfer that shocked the entire Liverpool fan base, like not because of the name that was signed, but actually because of the stature and how quickly it happened when no one expected it, is this guy, Diego Jota. So, and the impact that he had scoring a Champions League hat-trick probably on his home debut against Atalanta.
Yep.
He was filling in the gaps where Firmino, Mane or Salah were not performing. Diego Jota was there lining up, gunning in goals left, right and center. His injury has been a very crucial point because it's just Mane, Salah and Firmino and a half-fit Origi and Shaqiri at times coming back from the dead. But seriously, he's back in training. That's very good news because hates aside, you love to see these kind of players play. As a big fan of Coutinho, like you were a big fan of Juan Mata. So how important is Diego Jota coming back to the rest of the title challenge that Liverpool are mounting for the remainder of what remains of the season?
The thing with Jota is he slotted into the team like he was always there. He didn't seem to take time to get used to the way things were, and he didn't seem to be fazed by anything or the players around him. He's coming from Wolves straight into a title-winning team and playing with like world-class players like Mane and Salah and Van Dijk and stuff. But he seemed like like he played like he was always with us, and one thing I really like about him is he's got game intelligence. Not a lot of players have that. It's something that it's just inbuilt. He knows exactly where to be, what positions to take up, when to make the right runs. He's always looking at he's always looking at the players around him, their movements, and he's always trying to slip into these pockets of space that that gives other players options to look for. And that's exactly why he's actually been more effective than Firmino in some of those roles, and especially when he's been drifting into space. Like Firmino gets into those pockets of space and he does a little back heel or a quick 1-2 with somebody, and Jota is kind of like that. But when the way he slotted into that role was like it was pretty incredible. He just took to it naturally, and it was kind of ridiculous that this is one thing I'll fault Klopp for. It was kind of ridiculous that he played Jota against Midtjylland, however you spell it, pronounce it. Midtjylland. I call it Midgetland.
Hopefully, my channel doesn't get banned by the community standards. But
and
anyway,
and he got injured in that game. It was completely unnecessary. We had already qualified for the next round, and there was no reason to play him. And he got injured in that game of all games. And if he was fit, I think we would have at least 3 or 4 points more than what we have now. So.
absolutely. So maybe Diego Jota, but another signing which was linked throughout was Thiago Alcantara. And being a deep lying playmaker myself in my amateur of what was my playing days, so I idolized him since he was at Bayern Munich. The play style that he had played, a modern revelation, as they say, who can do everything. So this is going to get a bit tricky because we are moving on to the tactical part of this segment. So before that, most of you that you are watching, no, all of you that you're watching, do hit that subscribe button, hit gunning towards 500, and I think you guys can make it a reality. So the tactical analysis part. So Nolan, I have a few slides with me, which I'm going to bombard you with right now. So this is against, of course, Man United, the 0-0 draw. Hari Suresh is happy right now, but that I selected this match. No, but there's a reason. There's a reason that Liverpool had 3 shots on target in that match, and just one probably saved by De Gea. And one of them, of those 3 shots, was a Thiago pile driver from long range.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, Nolan, let me just simplify it for you. Liverpool always play the inside forwards, not like Mane and Salah, the inside forwards and Firmino, a whole player, or the player who finds space in the Liverpool attack or the final third, is always because Liverpool have a very high line. And that is because Virgil van Dijk is there to, okay, you go, I'm there. It's like repeating Cannavaro. So I'm Cannavaro, you go ahead. So Marcelo vibes. And just like that, that's a presence that if the midfield actually overplays or gets caught, Van Dijk is there, is going to save your asses 10 times out of 11. Absolutely. Or 11 times out of 10. That's what I was trying to say. But over here, you see Liverpool suddenly running out of opportunities and imagination. And primarily, Liverpool played very well because they created very good overloads with the deep lying playmaker this season, Thiago, formerly Henderson, and Firmino dropping in between the lines and asking Salah and Mane to drift over there. While your Trent, who's not gunning for the flanks, and Robertson, who's not there in the picture, would be there creating overlaps here and over here. So that is where, in my opinion, Nolan, Liverpool is lacking this season. So what I ask you is, the signing of Preston's 6'1" centre back, whose style is similar to Van Dijk, we don't know the effects of it, would maybe push Liverpool at least 10-15 yards further, like to their previous position that they occupied of the pitch in the last season, in the last title-winning season. What do you think?
I don't know if that will happen with Ben Davies or even Ozan Kabak, because right now, the thing with Thiago, and the problem right now is Thiago just come in, and what I've noticed over the last few games is he's a super intelligent player, as we all know. He always looks for the right pass, picks the right passes.
Right.
But the thing is, in my opinion, the team was so used to Henderson being in midfield and playing those balls over the top for the other guys to run onto, which Thiago doesn't really do. And actually, he only started doing it recently. He started doing it in the last game, in fact. Before that, it was all short ground passes, and it was mostly keeping possession, recycling possession, whatever it is. While Hendo was more go for it, like you guys make the runs, I'll pick you guys out. But with Thiago, it looked like he was still trying to get to grips with, first of all, the speed of the Premier League, the physicality of the Premier League. If you notice in the last few games, many of his challenges were late because he seemed a bit surprised that the players were moving the ball that quickly, or or they were like getting away from him that quickly, or whatever it was, and he was always lunging in a second too late or whatever it is. But of course, over the last couple of games, he seemed to be getting the hang of it. He even started playing those balls over the top, those dinks over the top and stuff, which Hendo does. But yeah, I would say if when Ben Davies or Kabak, if they actually do play regularly, I think we will see like you said, we will see us pushing forward a lot more. But I'm not so sure if it will have as much of an effect as Van Dijk. It can't actually, because they aren't Van Dijk. And plus, of course, they're completely brand new players, and I don't think the team right now will still have will have that much confidence in them to maybe shore up the defense that much. So I think we'll still be a bit um, apprehensive pouring forward, but it might if they play. I think we might see a little more attacking, in that sense compared to what it has been over the last so many games. But yeah, we seem to be getting some form, especially after the Spurs and West Ham game. We see a front three players, Firmino, Bobby, Salah, everyone, they seem to be clicking again. For some reason, they all go off form and get back on form at the same time. I don't know why that is. But yeah, yeah. So let's see. I think tonight we might. I don't know if Kabak or Davies will play today.
Both. Probably
Yeah,
Davies was registered in time.
yeah.
Kabak next match.
Kabak, I think the next match. Yeah. So let's see if Davies plays today, we might. Let's see how it goes.
But
I think he could.
one important thing that we both missed out on is that the long balls that Van Dijk plays, even though it's crowded on
Yeah.
midfield, even if the ball comes in, that
Yeah.
has been a major missing. And that's why actually when I highlighted Van Dijk on the poster that it's over here, this was the return leg. This was the match against Brighton last year, same fixture, and Van Dijk came up with the goals. And
Yeah.
that's poetic, isn't it? Like the way Brighton play, the amount of frustration they cause, like the guys like Neil Maupay and
Yeah.
even Ben White,
Mbappe is
who's
a pain in the
excellent,
ass.
and and all Premier League goalkeepers turning into prime Lev Yashin against the likes of Liverpool and United, and turning into Thomas Puszczak or the late days of Joe Hart against Man City. Like, I don't understand how Sterling gets a tap in and scores like 3 or 4, and Marcus Rashford hits it's a rocket and and the goalkeeper is like, okay, it's my right hand, so it's going to hit there. He
Yeah.
positions his hand good. This even with Liverpool, the big teams agreed, but likes the catastrophic saves, likes of
Yeah. I
Nick
mean,
Pope.
yeah, when we played Burnley, Nick Pope he's always in insane form against us. I mean, we played Newcastle, Darlow he was saving everything. It's crazy.
Lev Yashin every match. That's a bit of a surprise. Okay, Hari Suresh has a good question now. Do you think Liverpool would be able to have sustained a period of success like the United and Chelsea teams of 90s and 2000s?
Wow, I can't believe he's asking a serious question. So, if but it's a good question. But I don't know. I mean, if Klopp sticks around, probably, but I don't think it's possible. The success Man U had under Ferguson, that I think that's unparalleled. I don't think it'll ever happen ever in the history of football, uh, for a team to dominate that much, especially in the Premier League. Uh, and Chelsea, I mean, they were in the 2000s. They were a machine under Mourinho. I think they were probably the toughest, the most solid Premier League side I've ever seen. They were just it was like trying to break through a brick wall. They were like, it was ridiculously hard to play. I think yeah, they were the hardest team to play against. Back then they were solid through and through from top to bottom. But even they couldn't manage. Even they couldn't. Even they couldn't sustain that
Sustain.
success for like Man U did, like Ferguson did. So if a team like that couldn't do it, I mean, of course, right now we are in a good position, but I can't see it happening. Maybe if Klopp sticks around, we might you know do well for the next few years, but not for like 2 decades and stuff. I don't think that's possible.
And I think demographic of the entire thing is that in 2000s and 2010s, there were only 4 or 5 teams challenging for the league. But this
Yeah,
season and maybe
yeah,
seasons prior, this season particularly, the top 10 is separated by 7 or 8 points, something like that. It's mad. Like Leeds coming from the championship spends 80 can spend 82 million more than Liverpool, more than United. Earlier it was okay. Luis Saha is playing well for Fulham. Let's get him. Now you want to sign a Declan Rice? He's going to cost you around 800 odd million.
Exactly.
It's bonkers the level that Premier League players have, and people who actually, the La Liga fans might not like this, but it's a 2-horse race or a 3-horse race recently with Simeone as well. But right now it's a 7 or 8-horse race in the Premier League, isn't it?
Exactly. That's the thing, the Premier League, it's most of the teams are actually just a few signings away and a good manager away from actually being,
like
right
Carlo
up there with
Ancelotti managing Everton. Who would have thought of that?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, of course. Ancelotti. Actually, if you really take a look at the league, all the managers in the top 5, 6, 7, they've all been around for quite a while. They've all done the business in other leagues as well with other teams and stuff. So the quality is there as far as managers are concerned. That's why it's so tight, but even other teams like I mean, Wolves did so well last season, and
Sheffield,
exactly. Sheffield United did so well. Actually, Leeds, if they actually manage to get some good signings in soon and stuff, they could definitely be up there next season. So it's
interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, it's actually damn interesting. It's not like other leagues where halfway through the season what's going to happen.
So you're meaning it's either Bayern Liga or 2-horse La Liga, just like that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the other leagues, Bayern pretty much runs away the league almost every year. So that's a foregone conclusion most of the time. In La Liga, it's either Real or Barca, and once in a while it's Atletico. So it's
whenever the mood swing fits.
And in Scotland, it's only Scotland. It's only Rangers or Celtic, or in France, it's just PSG.
Most people don't know there's a French league like Uber. They saw Uber Eats. Like, what the hell is Uber Eats doing? Like, no, that's a league. The PSG. Oh, Neymar, right. So less about the bullshit. So another part of the tactical analysis, I have another slide. Yes, again from the same game. Hari, you are happy. We understand that. So this is the defensive part. That's the position when actually Bruno got a shot. Rashford made an overlap. And the question here is, the point I'm trying to prove here is Brighton actually play with overlapping fullbacks on one side. Whenever they're attacking, they push their fullbacks. And with the likes of Fabinho and Henderson, who might be your starting pair for this season, for tonight, Cavani is marked. That's fine. But the likes of Bruno Fernandes is being watched by Andy Robertson. Even he let go of Mason Greenwood for that goal. And at that point of time, maybe couldn't have done anything about it except scream, something like that, what the memes were all about. But this very genuinely looks concerning. Suppose you had a Van Dijk over here, Van Dijk wouldn't have been over there, for instance. You would have been marking the first pass out, that is cutting Luke Shaw. Because Bruno, there's only one place to go, and there can be one place the ball ends up. Either it's Alisson's or it's Van Dijk's to clear. So again, defensively, how difficult it's going to be against a Brighton side who unintentionally turn into giant killers very, very sooner than often.
It's going to be a tough game for sure, but at least the good thing is they're not that good. Come on, I mean, it's like I think we can get away with a few things against Brighton. Of course, it's we lost to Burnley, but of course that similar result could happen tonight. But I think we should be okay, even if Fabinho and Henderson play at the back. First of all, their strike force isn't as quick as Man United's or anyone else's, and plus they don't have other players like of the quality of Bruno Fernandes and
right.
all these guys that can actually, if the ball gets to them somehow, if either Rashford Martial or any of these guys don't get it, and it falls to Cavani or Bruno, there's danger all over the pitch basically. So Brighton don't really have that kind of quality, up front. So
But
I
interesting
get,
fact, Nolan. But interesting fact, they're coming off a 1-0 win against Tottenham. So how would you just
yeah,
change the context?
but that's Tottenham because Spurs do what they do best. Spurs are just like, I don't know what. They every time you think they're going to do well, they just do what Spurs always do. They just fuck it up.
The banter quotient is 1,000 in this show.
I was really happy that we played Spurs after we were like 5-6 games without a win, and I was really happy we were playing Spurs because I had a feeling we'd get back to form because they'd be so shit against us, and it just so happened that was the case.
Whenever I hear Spurs, I just remember that one scoreline. That, anyways, Harish.
Oh yeah. And it just so happened we lost 7-2 on the same day.
Yes.
So.
And the day we scored 6 against Leeds, you guys scored 7 against.
7 against Palace. Yeah, it's crazy. Forever United.
You'll never walk alone. So, okay, Advik with a question. Advik, thanks for joining. Do you think Liverpool has a spark right now as compared to the team which stunned Barca 4-0 2 years back? Now, interesting story before I let you answer this question. My best mate from college is a Liverpool fan, is die-hard Liverpool fan. So 3-0 down to Barca is like given up, nahi aur kuch nahi hoga bhai. And I went to sleep. I did not watch that match. Thought it was a dead rubber. 3 a.m. is calling me. The emotion, understand the emotion. He's crying. Like, what happened? Like, we said, bhai, we won the match. Like, what? Yeah, bhai, 4-0. It's like what I opened the highlights. He was still on call. Like, even I had an emotional spark. It gives me goosebumps. Like, the emotion transcends because we are football fans primarily. And we always support the underdogs. At any point of time, the sympathy goes with them. So it's an emotion. So coming back to this question, do you think Liverpool still has a spark?
I mean, that game was special. It was kind of like comparable to the Champions League final in 2005. 3-0 down to Barca. It's like it's literally, to come back 4-0 is like, it's insane, And that too, we had Origi up front. And
Henderson pulled up in halftime.
Yeah,
Salah was
yeah, exactly. There. Yeah, exactly. Nobody gave us a prayer actually, and but that's one thing Liverpool does. They either screw up epically, or they pull out the biggest rabbit from the hat. They do both really well. Plummet to the depths of rubbish and reach the highest of whatever it is. But yeah, that game, hit the heights, hit heights no other team can probably hit. But that game was it was one of those games where because we were the underdogs and the odds were against us, and we've been in that position before. Liverpool fans are used to that, and I guess that everyone just kind of believed that we could still, we've done it before, we can do it again. Even though it's against Messi and Suarez or whoever, we can still do it. And once that first goal went in, I think everyone just knew something was going to happen. And after that, you could just see it on, like, in the faces of the Barca players. And, when Anfield is in that mood, it was just, it's just inevitable that something like that's going to happen. And you could see it on Messi's face. He was like, what the fuck is going on?
That was the only time United and Liverpool fans actually held hands and said, okay, go back to your place, Barcelona. This is the Premier League. Okay, Showjan, thanks for joining. He says, I don't know, seeing Pool was sure burn for me, but the football lover inside us was happy for those guys who waited fucking 30 years. Definitely. Okay, so coming up to the closing parts of the show. So it's prediction time, guys. Nolan, your predictions for the Liverpool-Brighton match?
I think it's going to be 2-1 to us.
Okay, probably Salah has. I was checking a comment that Salah was rested at this point of time. Yeah, Thiago and Salah have been rested. Ayush Lala had commented. Sorry, Ayush, you had to wait
And,
for your comment for so
and
long.
I captain Salah in my fantasy league.
Even I have kept Salah captain as fantasy.
Oh man, I knew this would happen anyway. Well, yeah, but I still think we should win this. Not comfortably. It's going to be hard. I think we'll have to scrape through somehow. But I'm expecting Firmino to at least get one today, and hopefully Trent or somebody can pitch in with the other.
Trent
And
had been
yeah,
Trent had
and
been
I think
actually
the
amazing recently. Very, yeah. Go on, Nolan.
yeah, sorry, and I think the Brighton goal will happen because we do something really stupid at the back. So I think that's what's going to happen.
So Sunday it's Liverpool versus Man City. That would be the most
Yeah.
exciting game of the week. So I think it's a good call from Jurgen that he actually rested these key players who would be needed against a much stronger title challenging team. And so that would be a classic 6-pointer. And I'm going to be supporting Liverpool for that. Not for the first time. I still remember supporting, screaming and waking up my parents and grandparents like when when actually Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain blasted in
Yeah,
that 4-0. It's like that match had no significance for me, but as Shojan said, the football lover inside us always wants to see real people who have worked hard and real people who have made themselves, not bought their way into success. Now, while I'm saying this, Pep Guardiola is writing another checkbook in some transfer's name, but that's another thing. So, Nolan, thanks for joining us. It's been a
it
pleasure
was great.
as a fan, as a follower to have you in this show. Maybe sometime very, very soon again, if you're done with your
Yeah,
projects.
for sure, definitely. I'd love to.
And
Thanks for having me.
definitely, absolutely, that's a pleasure. And just one request on screen: next time you come to Kolkata, be sure that I'm going to be go over in backstage and have an interview with you live as well.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
absolutely. For
so,
sure.
so
It'll happen.
absolutely. So, guys, Kryptos, for those of you who haven't heard, you're idiots. Metal scene at Kolkata is the biggest. Nolan told me secretly that he has 500 pending requests that he cannot actually scrape through. And he's like, I never expected Nolan to actually text me back. And I'm grateful that he actually got and I got this opportunity. And I've gone from nothing to actually something with Nolan on screen today. And it's been an ethereal experience. And talking to you was the banter question to all was extreme. And let's hope I didn't bore you to death with no music questions because
Yeah,
most.
thankfully.
So thanks, Nolan, for joining in. We'll see you very, very soon then.
Yep.
Bye bye.
Okay, thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Bye. Stay safe.
Bye.
Cheers.
Cheers. So that was pretty much
Cheers.
about it. Nolan Lewis live on Netflix football, and Liverpool versus Brighton going to be amazing for all the Liverpool supporters out there. And I'm sure not going to miss the Manchester City versus Liverpool clash. We have a podcast planned. Let's hope that's going to be an epic week. This is your boy Neil for Netflix football. Keeping a show at a premium over here. We'll meet you very, very soon. Tomorrow, PES 21 stream will be back again. And let's hope by the next week I have some exciting news to share with you all. So keep subscribing to this channel. We are very, very close to 500. And I'm sure, guys, if you are watching, if you send this to 2 or 3 metal lovers for the sake of Nolan, we can get to 500. Cheers and hope to a better evening and better days ahead. This is your boy Neil signing off for tonight. Bye-bye.